Warning! Who has the hots for Ravi? It's Kim.
What?
Spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for iZombie, Season 3, Episode 12, Looking for Mr. Goodbrain, Part 1. I'm your host, Dom. With me, we have Kim and Nikki.
Hi.
How's it going?
There's a few things that happened in this episode I called.
Yeah? Like what?
Yeah.
Mr. Graves, for one, that was headed that direction. I knew it was.
Live in Mr. Graves on the, the date.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was so...
Date?
I was so disappointed because, I know Liv's on a brain, but she can control her urges to some degree. You have a boyfriend.
I don't think she was understanding what was happening. Like, I think it was confusing her, because that's what she acted like. She was very confused by it. Like, it was like this impulse.
Well, you saw, like, she didn't even want to be at the bar every night. Or the club, or whatever it was. And she kept finding herself there. Like, she had promised to go do this and promised to do that, but she kept finding herself there. It was out of her control.
Yeah.
I think that lady had a problem.
Yeah.
Like, mental, like, it's addicted to sex. Basically.
Yeah.
She was a nympho?
More than a nympho, because being a nympho, but this is being, like, actually being mentally an issue.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, like, nympho is, like, uncontrolled everywhere. It's, like, right there in the middle of the bar kind of deal. And...
So, she was kind of like, it was always... It's not premeditated, but it's like...
It's an addiction.
She has to go through the motions, and then at the end of the night, that's if she doesn't reach that point, she probably goes crazy.
She probably has OCD, and it's probably it's addiction to the process.
Yeah.
So it's going to the bar, going to the same bar, meeting the guy or whatever, eyeing him up, obviously of some sort.
Yeah.
Like she picks her victim kind of thing.
You saw Liv fighting back to a degree, right? The first date that she had there, she gets up to, like, the guy's room, and just before they go in the room, she chickens out. And then you had the nerdy guy that bought her a drink, and they make it as far as the elevator, and then Liv starts freaking out, when he steps out of the elevator and starts looking for his keys. So she bails then, and it wasn't until Mr. Graves,
I think it's because it was Mr. Graves.
Yeah, I think it's because Graves was a zombie and she could let go with him, whereas the other guy was human and she would have infected him.
Correct.
Probably.
I think there was a lot less resistance in that case. Not to mention, like I said, he's been eyeing her up and getting pretty close.
They've had some sexual tension.
Well, he admitted it this go around since the meeting with the whole big party with the mayor.
Yeah.
Which is when I started being like, oh, hello.
Yeah. I love the little game that they were playing when they're sitting there talking about the girl with the knitting fetish.
That was funny.
That was great. She likes to be tied up with yarn. No, anything but yarn. I thought that was hysterical. But yeah, Liv was on the brain of Ravi's former lover and boss, Caddy Cups.
Yep.
Did we actually find out how she died?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It was just we were seeing her processing of like stuff that she did. We were getting, but we never got. It was definitely in deep. There was a lot more to it than.
She was investigating. Because Caddy came in first. She came into the morgue, and that's when Liv had found out that she was on the cover of the newspaper. And when Caddy came in and started talking to Ravi, Liv had to hide because she was the face on the cover of the magazine. Or the newspaper, rather. And so she's listening to Caddy, like, bombard Ravi with, I know you were the source in this story, how could you do that? And Liv is just, like, she's very noticeably upset with Ravi, like, how could you do this, all this stuff. And then the next thing we know, Caddy's dead, hidden behind a dumpster. And Liv starts, Liv has to eat her brain, whatever, and solve the murder and whatnot, which she didn't get to do. But in the meantime, the side effect is she's getting, not only this sexual routine that she's been stuck in that we were just talking about, but she's also getting visions of Ravi. Right?
That was funny.
Oh my God, I was disturbed.
You have Ravi sitting there trying to think of anything not too early, but he's sitting there trying to think of a flatulent Jabba the Hutt.
Oh,
yeah, that was horrible.
And I'm like, that really just like, I don't know what just happened.
Oh man, I sat there the whole time and I was cringing. I was like, oh, it was like a 10-second vision, but like it lasted a lot longer for me because it made me so disgusted, and I was just like, oh, I can't. Just stop it.
We're living. She's like, go the fuck away. You go in the corner right now. But yeah. No, and not to mention, why would you yell those things? Okay, why would you? Why?
Maybe he's not an inward thinker, he's an outward speaker, and it works better that way.
Inner monologue. No one wants to hear that shit.
It's not my fault we brain banged. Ravi, really?
And like, to think, things like that, like when they come up with lines like that, I'm pretty sure 80% of those lines are ad-libbed by like Ravi and Major and Liv. I'm pretty sure they are terrors on set.
I can only imagine.
I've seen some Instagram videos.
Yeah.
My favorite just recently is on Ravi's Twitter. The actor who plays Ravi, he showed a picture of himself holding up the newspaper of Liv, and he said, "This is just screaming to be photoshopped." And then next thing you know is down the list, all the replies down there, just people photoshopping stuff onto the newspaper, and I was just like, yeah. This is bad.
Not to mention, anyone can Photoshop that in general.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't prove shit.
Yeah. So it's just really funny. But, yeah, no, it was that, and then we learned that Caddy was actually tracking an avian, or no, it was not avian, it was Alatian flu from Paris. She had 4 people left to interview that were not in the notes that the CDC had found, and all this stuff. So we get to see them questioning a lot of the people.
Clive. The way he reacted to the lady.
Don't touch me.
Every person he interviewed back. He was back at the door. Like, he pulled his chair all the way back as far as he could. I'm surprised he didn't, like, go into another room and have, like, a glass wall up with the pinholes in it, whatever. Like,
just press the button, the intercom.
Yeah, the intercom button.
Yeah.
He was precious, I'm sorry. I mean, I think he's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Well, not completely, but apparently when it comes to some weird disease, yes.
So now, is anybody else thinking this whole time that this flu is not actually the flu and it's the zombie virus?
Yes.
Yeah?
I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And I think that's why she got killed.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like that's what that was leading to. Like this, the information we were getting.
I feel like she knew that it was related to the zombies, but she was, covering it up by saying it was the flu from Paris. And she obviously didn't do a good enough job, and Fillmore Graves took her out.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Red Bandit in chat says, I thought this episode was pretty good. My only issue was I think they went too far with the suicide bomber, especially looking at attacks in London. So this one scene they could have taken out. And he's referring to the final scene when... So we had Major, who his boss found out that he's actually human. So Major gets fired. He gets his troops to throw him a farewell party. During the middle of the party, we have I forgot his name now.
Harley.
Harley.
Is it Harley?
think so.
Oh, God.
I'm going to pull up my notes from last
I know
week.
he has an H name. But yeah.
Pulling up my notes from last week because I have him in there.
Yeah, it's Harley.
They never mentioned his name this episode. Yeah, Harley.
No.
So yeah, Harley, like, his friends came into his bunker. They broke him out of the freezer. They think he's dead. They think somebody, like, covered it up and hit him and all this stuff. They leave the dead corpse on the couch, and they're just chilling there watching the news. That's when Harley comes alive and murders his friends. But Harley doesn't want to be a zombie. He thinks all these zombies are abominations, even though he is one. And he busts into the party where he knows, all these troops are actually zombies. So he goes in strapped with, dynamite and all kinds of explosives.
Yeah.
And he walks in and does a suicide bombing and wipes out basically all of the Fillmore Graves troops. Now, Justin and Major got out in time. They didn't know what was going on. They just went out to talk.
Yeah.
So, Liv has not lost another boyfriend yet.
Oh, God. So please don't remind me.
A dead Natalie.
Yeah. But, yeah, Natalie, I think, was inside, right?
Mm-hmm. She was standing next to him.
Yeah, because...
he was actually talking to her before he went all... Woo.
Yeah, she didn't follow them out, is what I...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they, like, Natalie had showed up to Major's before going to the party, and she's just like, look, I've traveled the world, I want to live in Italy, I have a place there for 6 months, came back, Major, to thank you for the cure, and basically for sex, because that happened. So, now that Major's human, and, he's fired from his job, and he, can't shake off the fact that he's the Chaos Killer, she wants him to come to Italy with her, and he agrees, but, after the squad sends him off, so he wants to do the party. So now Natalie was in there, when the bomb went off. So, I mean,
Major has the worst luck with women. Almost as bad as Liv has with women.
Yeah. I mean, nobody in this show is very lucky.
This is true.
I mean, a lot of them are dead people, and they've been murdered, or so they're not very lucky either.
And relationship-wise, they're not all very lucky either.
And what Red Bandit's saying, in chat with, is basically in poor taste because the suicide bombings, the attacks in London, stuff like that. And I'm not gonna belittle the statement at all because obviously the London attacks were horrific. But at this point, censoring something on TV just because there was a recent attack, I don't think is a good idea. It's definitely not a parallel. They didn't do it in London or anything like that. If they did in London, that's a different story.
If it's too close for comfort kind of thing, I guess that's my opinion. I know I understand the whole being respecting of that situation. But I don't. They couldn't really take it out. It was kind of vital to what tells the story is going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, we recently, what was it? Not this year, but last year, or was it even the year before? Supergirl. We had an incident, a very similar incident, and Supergirl actually aired 2 of their episodes out of order, to give some time for that. So
that was the bombing in Paris, wasn't it?
I don't remember. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was when Supergirl was first airing. They switched episode 3 and 4 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very minor in terms of you could tell there was a little thing that didn't make sense, but once you realized it was out of order, it made sense. They could have maybe pushed the episode back a week, something like that, but in the grand scheme of it, bad stuff is happening everywhere, unfortunately. And as sad as that is, to have to censor a show or something like that every time something happens, almost nothing would be able to air. It's just the unfortunate way of the world right now. It's actually really sad and sickening. But I don't know. I obviously don't condone the attacks or anything like that, and I don't think that this was promoting the attacks or anything like that. I definitely see where there could be a connection, but at the same time, it's a lot to try to censor. So, there's no real good way to do it. It's basically what it comes down to it. I don't know. It's rough. It really is rough.
I don't know. It is a difficult situation, especially for networks when they have pre-recorded things. They're already done editing, and it's been written into the story, and it's really, really hard. But like you're saying, like at this point, we'd have like 0 TV shows at this point because things happen all over in all the shows that we watch that if in the smallest sense was similar to something that happened in the real world, we wouldn't be seeing it at all.
Yeah. Because I remember back, around the 9/11 attacks, and it wasn't like immediately during the attacks, it was a couple of months after. The band Disturbed released a video for their song Prayer, and in it, the tremors of the song were actually causing, I think it was buildings in Chicago to like crumble around them while they were playing the song, and MTV banned the video from TV because it was too similar to what was going on 9/11, and I personally didn't make that connection when watching the video because the video was still released, but
well, there was a lot of stuff that they got super sensitive when censoring and everything that after that event.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No movies that had the Twin Towers in them was allowed to like be on, or they had to like edit them. Like you go back and edit old movies, so you couldn't see the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know some movies and stuff, even like Spider-Man. I think it was the first Spider-Man or the second one. I don't remember. There was a big climactic battle that involved the trade towers. Spider-Man created a web between the two towers and caught like a plane or something from crashing. And it was in the trailer. Like you go back and watch like very, very early trailers of it, and you see all that footage in the trailers for Spider-Man. Never made it to the DVD as bonus footage, anything like that. So, they edit it out, and I think certain things like that is a little too close to it's the World Trade Centers and a plane. That's a little too close, but to have to censor every time like a bombing or so, it's rough. It really is. If this was a scene that took place in Paris, then you probably would want to edit that, but I don't know. That's just my opinion on it, but I'm not trying to belittle the attacks at all because it's very unfortunate. It's an awful, awful thing, but
I just currently watched a series on Netflix, and this pertains to this conversation. And there was a school shooting in it, and it's really disturbing because, as terrible as it's common for school shootings to happen now, it's ridiculous. Kind of. So they happen, and we just don't get media coverage on them very much anymore because it is that disturbing. People want to they want to know about it, but at the same time, it's super sensitive because it involves children. So, a lot of it doesn't even get coverage anymore, which is terrible because I think people should be aware that this is still happening. But there was a school shooting in it.
The big ones that you guys know about are obviously, Columbine, Virginia Tech, and Sandy Hook. Those are the big three. Those are
the ones everyone still remembers. But still even after this long.
There's plenty in between.
Yeah. And so I was watching it, and my daughter, she's 12 years old, and she was watching with me, and she goes, "This is really scary." And I said, "Yeah." And see, knowing that, she's aware and that, she's going to school and everything, but they didn't take it out of the series, It's something that they touched upon saying, it's happening, but we're trying to take care of it. We're trying to figure out safeguards. But, so the whole taking things out of media and on shows and everything, it's so hard to do because it's everywhere. It doesn't matter what we do.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It is unfortunate. So, I mean, that's going to be kind of a big plot left over for the second part of this episode, part 2. And I'm really kind of weird, like, how they aired part 1 a week before and part 2 the week after. Like, normally that'll be a double episode when they do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the direction they went here. So, I mean, we still have a lot of loose ends tied. You know, we have Caddy Cups, how she died. It was revealed that the person that they were trying to interview on the plane was actually Patrice. She was on the Paris flight.
Yeah.
Which is Kerry Gold's daughter.
And see,
that was kind of a big twist.
When I saw Kerry Gold, I knew I had seen her before, but I couldn't place her in this series. I don't know if she's... So, I mean, I forgot to look it up, but I don't... Is she a new character, but, like, other people know because she's got high standing?
We've seen her before, in episode 5, I think.
Season 5? Or season 3, I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Spanking the Zombie.
We've seen her before. I don't remember where.
Well, I remember the episode Spanking the Zombie because that's when she was on the dominatrix brain. But I don't remember Kerry Gold being in that.
Yeah, no, she was definitely in it. I recognize her from this season. I just don't remember. So she's the executive team member, Kerry Gold. She's the one that's like the lady at Fillmore Graves.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Like the secretary lady.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I know.
Yeah.
I remember her face now. I remember the meeting that she's been in, the meetings that she's been in. You know, I remember her at a desk. Yeah. Okay. Nailed it.
Yep.
Got her.
So that's kind of a big twist. You know, that Patrice is her daughter, was on this flight. She's a zombie. It's all kind of adding up.
Yeah, so maybe, you know, Caddy was covering up that she found out that it was a zombie virus, and she decided to cover it up saying it was the Alician flu from Paris. So that would explain why she got offed, because probably Carrie did it. Just saying.
Maybe.
I don't think it was convenient that Mr. Graves showed up at the bar either.
No.
I want to know though what's going on with Blaine. No Blaine this episode.
We had
no Mr. Boss.
No Mr. Boss.
Oh,
no
right,
Blaine.
yeah.
Oh man.
Is Mr. Boss Mr. Goodbrain?
Because we know that he is now in on the zombiness.
Yeah, he knows about zombies existing. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go zombie.
He just like Blaine's taking a little nap on his desk, and he just like lifts the finger and scratches himself.
And then shoots Blaine in the head.
Yep.
Or shoots Blaine in the head anyway. Like she's.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not really anything huge pertaining to the plot or anything, but just something I wanted to comment is get to see Liv looking like a normal human being again.
Kind of.
It's been a while. She tan and died.
No, she's wearing a wig.
Spray and died or whatever.
She's wearing a wig, and she did tan up a little bit. Just a little bit. She was still super duper pale.
Yeah.
But I think she was pale in general. Like she's pale anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like me. She's the
Casper.
only two. She's two-toned in the summer. She's either white or she's lobster red. So I think that's the kind of person.
It's usually what I am too.
Yeah. So.
That's why me and the son don't get along, and I just don't do it.
Yeah, I just don't go outside.
Yep.
So next episode, the finale, is looking for Mr. Goodbrain Part 2. Liv uncovers a shocking truth with far-reaching consequences. A reeling Major looks to the future, and Clive gets closure. Meanwhile, Blaine makes a business proposal.
Okay.
Oh,
so, uncovering the shocking truth of far-reaching consequences. I don't know what that could be. Major, obviously, he's feeling from Natalie and losing all his friends. Clive is on that one murder investigation with Wally.
Yep.
And
finds out who does that.
Blaine is always making business proposals. How is this any different?
It's gonna be with Mr. Boss. So.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah. That's about it.
Something shocking. I have a feeling it has something to do with the whole Mr. Graves and all of that stuff. Is the shocking thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we know that the two of them wanted to talk, or Blaine wanted to talk anyway. And Graves is just like, yeah, we'll see. So.
That's true. I don't know. I kind of want to see them touch on Liv's family again, see what they're up to, but I don't think that's going to fit in this episode.
We haven't seen them in forever.
No.
I'd like to see them find out she's a zombie. And then they find out why she couldn't give him blood.
Exactly. And be like, this is why I didn't give you blood. And then, maybe, build some...
Reconcile.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
What if her brother becomes a zombie and then just...
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see next week. So I think that about does it. Kim, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at HUFFITY,
Awesome. Nikki, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LEDYVENOM24.
And you can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. I'd like to thank Red Bandit for joining us in chat. And you guys can follow us all on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTVpodcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Till next week. Finale time.
Finale time. Oh my god, the real talk got to me. I was like, hold my breath that whole conversation.
There was a lot of real talk. We got serious. There was some serious business.
Yeah. Whew.
Kim, your hair is red.
No shit. No, it's purple.
That's a weird color of purple. Just saying.
More of a fuchsia. It's a pink.
Oh, that's a horse of a different color.
Nay.